1 week after college, I moved to New York City. My friends let me sleep on their couch, and I hunted for an advertising agency on Madison Avenue that would scoop me up as part of their creative team. A month later, I landed my first job as a barista in Queens. So on my first shift at closing time, I'm handed a utility bucket and directed off to the bathrooms. And the last thing I do is I spray down the mirror, and as I'm wiping it clean, I come face to face with myself. And that was my foreshadowing clue that post-college life wasn't going to be the fairy tale I imagined. I did land that advertising job on Madison Avenue, but not on the creative team, as an office manager. So I tried to portray the job to my friends like I was more than a secretary. Maybe not convincingly, but creatively. I wanted more. There was so much that I felt like I was capable of doing. But my job description only wanted this much of me. And I couldn't land the positions that would challenge me. So, my answer? I chased things. Promotions, beautiful clothes in my closet, good hair days, the highest of high heels, and an appearance that would get me likes on Facebook. And I finally had everything I thought I wanted. Everything I thought I needed. And I came up short. So I had a Manhattan meltdown. And I wish that was a cocktail. But it was the unflattering aftermath of a quarter-life crisis. And I fell hard. I'm talking moved back home to my mom's basement in Michigan hard. My ego's fatal blow. And the only thing I seemed capable of doing was lying in bed and staring up at the ceiling, willing it to answer the only question I cared about anymore. Why aren't I happy? No matter where I've moved or what job I've landed, that question has made it a point to tag along for the ride. So for the last 6 years, I have been clumsily putting myself back together, looking for the answer. And I finally got my first clue when I moved to North Carolina and became the Special Olympics powerlifting coach here in Greensboro. Practices meant so much to these athletes. And for some, this 1 hour on Tuesday nights was their only chance to get out of the house and be part of their community. And for the first time in my life, it dawned on me to even ask, what opportunities do adults with special needs have after they graduate high school? My friend Michael has Down syndrome. And on his graduation day, he's celebrating with his teacher, but she wants him to understand that this isn't just a party. This is his last day in her classroom. So after she explains, Michael puts his hand on her shoulder, looks her square in the eyes, and asks, "Why?" And what do you say? Because you can't say you're off to college, or this is the start of your new career, and telling the truth. You're 22. You aged out of the system. That wasn't good enough. So you go from having friends and structure and opportunities and purpose for 22 years, then nothing. Good luck starting from scratch. It all sounded a little too familiar. But we've all been there, right? Haven't you ever been underestimated? Stuck? Can we take a minute just to go back there? So what if all of our stories are different? That feeling, it's the same. But what if it wasn't just an employer? Was it just a friend or a partner that underestimated underestimated us? What if, in large part, the whole world did? The challenge being faced isn't any different. Only the scale of it is. So, whether we're looking at the opportunities that we deserve to find happiness in our own lives, or we're looking at the opportunities that adults with special needs deserve to find happiness in their lives, it all comes down to this. How do we make the leap from doing only what other people think we're capable of to doing what we are actually capable of? A few years ago, I met an amazing group of adults who are enrolled in a job training program. The concept is simple. Teach job skills to adults with special needs by making and selling dog treats. It's the vision of Pat Flatt. And she always tells me what's more important than mentioning her name is mentioning that she's a mom. Pat is a mom who wants her son David to have a beautiful life. And for the record, he has told her that is exactly what he has. It also helps to know that Pat is the type of mom who has the guts to celebrate her 80th birthday on a motorcycle. So Pat takes this idea and she pitches it to the Greensboro chapter of the ARC. And if you're not familiar, the ARC is an international nonprofit devoted to enriching the lives of adults with special needs. And the ARC of Greensboro takes a leap of faith on this idea. And arcBARKS Dog Treat Company is born in the basement of a church. When I joined this team, I instantly connect with them. We were in the same boat, really. School was out, and had been for a long time. And we were all still looking for our way. Our journey has taken us to a full-blown retail bakery where customers can come in and enjoy watching treats being made from scratch, where they can see with their own eyes how capable the arcBARKS chefs truly are. Every aspect of the operation is in their capable hands. Every little thing, right down to using the peanut grinder and the industrial mixers and the ovens. We created an environment that doesn't micromanage or make assumptions about abilities. It allows these adults to explore their independence and add their own value in their own unique way. I love to look at these pictures because it reminds me of all the things that they can do. Because as we were working on this, I guided them, but they guided me. And together, because we collaborated, our product made its way from obscurity, literally selling on street corners, to the shelves of major retailers like the Fresh Market and Lowe's Foods across North and South Carolina. And together, we figured out what meaningful work is, both in terms of what it requires of a person and in terms of what it can do for a person. Meaningful work isn't found, it's formed. And in order for it to take shape, only 3 things have to take place. 1, be honest with yourself and about yourself. Find out what you want. Not what you're told you want, or what you're supposed to want, but what you really want. I found out the hard way that my dreams weren't really mine. They came from outside influences. But my chefs, their dreams come from the inside. Things I am ashamed to say, I never considered to be dreams. I considered them foregone conclusions in my life. To be included, to be independent, to have friends, to fall in love. Kelly put it like this: I just want to be a simple, happy person. So be who you are. As I encourage my chefs to accept themselves fully, I had to start doing the same thing for myself or else risk being a total hypocrite. So I started taking off the makeup and the high heels. And the first day I come into the bakery like this, one of my chefs, I overhear them making the following announcement: everybody, Sarah has a zit, but it's going to be okay. And guess what? It was. I want my chefs to unapologetically be themselves in hopes that the community will celebrate them for it. One of my best friends has a son with Down syndrome. And someone once asked her in shock, "You told your son that he has Down syndrome?" Her response? "Well, yeah, we own a mirror." Because if you hide something, that's a cue to be ashamed. But if you greet that same thing with candor, it can become a source of pride. That is what we built our company culture and our brand on. And that is why our chef's signatures are in every single one of our boxes, right under their promise to put love in their treats. And it's also why our logo is made up of 3 of our chef's proud faces. David, whose mother dreamt up arcBARKS. Annie, our cover girl, who's here today, and who I'm sure will accommodate any autograph requests. And Michael, who asked his teacher why on graduation day. Instead of ignoring the elephant in the room, ride around on it like you're in a parade. Lisa is one of our chefs who's still having a struggling time with this. But it's because of that that I admire her efforts so much. When I first met Lisa, she was incredibly defensive and closed off. So I pushed her to figure out what it was that she was trying so hard to protect herself from. And it ends up, she's just scared of how people will react to her disability. And even though she's still trying to let go of that fear, it's less overwhelming, so it's becoming a lot easier to smile. A lot easier to be part of the group. A lot easier to be herself. And this beautiful young woman is coming into her own because she's finally starting to understand that she's enough. 2, need and be needed. When I first started, I thought I was helping by doing everything for my chefs. They depended on me, and I have to admit, it felt good. Being needed made me feel my self-worth again. And that's when it hit me. I was doing them a huge disservice because people need to be needed. But these adults are rarely given that opportunity. So it was only after I started letting them help me and help each other and help themselves that all of the magic started. So as the business has grown, so have their responsibilities. If I would have asked Danny in the beginning of his career at arcBARKS to do anything outside of making treats, he would get really bent out of shape. But as he was forced to step out of his comfort zone, he started to realize the independence that comes along with learning new skills. So one day I'm going outside to lock up our outdoor bistro tables, and Danny comes up to me as if to say, "Nah, I got this," and proceeds to do a better job than I ever did. And the cool part is, I never showed him how. He just watched me, and when he was ready, he decided to jump in. And something really cool started happening in the bakery. The chefs stopped waiting for me to assign tasks to them, and they started anticipating where they were needed, and they jumped in. 3, fail. Failing is a humble reminder that there are possibilities yet to be explored. And if you never fail, the job being done isn't challenging enough. Every time one of my chefs says, "I can't," they're wrong. And even if it takes countless tries, it is so exciting watching them figure out that they indeed can, and that the only problem has been they've been underestimating themselves all along. Every time Jordan succeeded, we'd raise that bar slightly out of reach, and she transformed. It's hard to believe that Jordan never used to smile for pictures, and now she's the shelf tag at every Lowe's booth there is. The same girl that hid in a corner her first day at arcBARKS goes out to events and works the crowd. And the smallest things like making eye contact and offering her handshake are the biggest victories. Heck, look at David. When he first started at arcBARKS, he was 40 pounds overweight, was struggling with early signs of dementia, and was on an oxygen machine. After he jumped into an environment that let him be himself, that needed him, that gave him permission to fail, did all of those things turn around? So today, David is back to his normal weight. He's as sharp as a tack, and there's no oxygen machine to be found. So I had to ask Pat, can you find out from David, in his own words, what it is about the bakery that he owes all of his improvement to? And he said, "Mom, they respect me there." One thing we can count on in the future is that adults with special needs will be a part of it. Imagine if we can make it a meaningful part. And that's not some kind of a favor to them. It's a favor to all of us. And to be honest, it's a right they have in this human experience. The term disabled gets thrown around a lot, but it's not all-encompassing. It's being used in context to what we happen to value most in our society: the ability to achieve status and make money. But what if we started celebrating the ability to live in the moment and to see the best in each other? Who would be disabled then? I still lie in bed from time to time, staring up at the ceiling, willing it to answer my questions. But these days I ask, why am I so happy? And there's no doubt in my heart that it's because of the wisdom that these adults bring to my life. They taught me what dreams are worth chasing, and I will spend the rest of my life trying to repay them for that.